Hey, so welcome to day 2 of our 10 and 10 Blast series here at Leader Seeds Podcast. My name is Jordan, and I'll be your host for today's session. And I pretty much record on these episodes, and we're excited to even tell you that there's going to have some awesome interviews coming up in the next season. So stay with us. Today specifically, we're talking about our 10 and 10 Blast series. And what that is for the next 10 days. We're on day 2. So what we're doing is 10 days straight of 10-minute packed sessions. And when I say packed, we're trying to get some great foundational, high impact and healthy leadership methods that we just focus on right there for that topic for the day. So yesterday we talked about clarity. Go check that episode out if you haven't heard it yet. Today we are talking all about comparison, and specifically I always got a subtitle: and how to destroy comparison. So stick with us today as we're going to tackle that. We're going to spend 10 minutes right here, and we're going to cover 2 parts that I share. I did a training that if you can secure these 2 parts, you can destroy that comparison in your life. So let's check it out for today. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into today. I know some of you guys might be excited because I am, and I hope you're excited when you push play on this. When you look at the podcast and you push play, maybe I shared it on social media. Maybe you already have subscribed and following it, and it popped up on your feed, and you push play to check it in. Whatever it was, if it was a social media share, if I sent it to you personally, or you just already subscribed to it, I want to personally thank you for taking the time for the next 10 minutes to spend it with us here and to kind of just hear what we have to share. If you already subscribed, thank you so much for going ahead and being part of this awesome community. Your feedback and your interaction has been just phenomenal in really creating what it is today. We literally took this about a year ago, and I had a towel over my head, sitting on the floor, speaking into my iPhone, just doing the first recordings there. And I'm looking at a Rodecaster Pro. I'm looking at a high-level microphone, and it's just awesome how the reach is almost to 7-8 different countries. It's awesome, and it's because of you guys that is going out there, the early adopters, the early supporters. So thank you for going out there and doing that. If you're checking out for the first time, I want to invite you to do the same. And listen to this. I always tell people, listen to the podcast first, check it out, be engaged, really just focus in and expect to find something. Because when you expect to find something, you'll find it. And when you expect to find something here, the chances are is you're going to find it, and it's going to be somewhat of value in your life. And when you find that, go ahead and subscribe. Don't just subscribe to everything. We don't want this junk mail and spam. We spend a lot of time, increasing the value here and what we bring, a lot of research, a lot of things that's put together. So when you look for that here and you find it, go ahead and subscribe, share it with a friend, and even go ahead and leave a review on wherever you listen to podcast platforms. We greatly appreciate that. Now let's go ahead and jump in the topic today. The topic we're talking about is destroying comparison. Comparison is a 10-letter word. And why does that matter? It doesn't, but I just thought I'd say that right really quickly. It's a 10-letter word, but it really, it affects people's lives. I mean, you look at today, especially with social media, you look at, how people are, they see the highlight reels, and you see how people are going ahead and doing big things, and it always hits you on that day when you feel like everything sucks in your day, right? And you're like, nothing works out for me, and you see everything working out for someone else, and there comes this 10-letter word of comparison, and it just kind of puts you under. I did a training for an awesome group of entrepreneurs the other week, and this is pretty much how I framed it. If you look at this word, as far as I know, this is the word that's solely responsible for taking people out in their business and their dreams and their goals. Even the most motivated person, even the most highly skilled person, even the most talented person. If we're not aware of this word can take people out. Like even people that are just, whatever it may be, like just when you see them, you're inspired, when you see these people, and then one day it's like, what happened? Somehow this word of comparison starts to creep into their ears, into their mind, and eventually into their heart, where they start to compare themselves to other people. So I want to start with that, because I hope after you hear some of that and you kind of even think of how this maybe affects your life and your level of dealing with comparison, like it's a big deal. It's serious stuff. And sometimes we don't even think about it because we don't want to think about it. It's not a feel good word. It's not a feel-good topic, right? But here's the thing: is when we talk about it, and I'm sharing with you today specifically these two things that have not just helped myself, but have helped the people that I was able to work with and share with them and help them implement in their life, not just hear about it, right? So you're hearing about a podcast, but I want to challenge you also. You got to apply it. You got to apply. You can't just hear these things and expect change. If you apply these two things that I'll share today, they will help you destroy that comparison in your life that creeps up on everybody. Everybody gets a chance to feel that. It doesn't have any favorites. Everybody gets a chance to get a day where you feel compared to everyone's highlight reel, right? But here's the thing you can be excited about. The next time it comes around, you'll be better prepared because you're going to have two things that you can start taking action on today. Because why? Because you push play and you spent 10 minutes with us here at Leader Seeds Podcast. So let's jump in it. Here we go, guys. So the first one is self-awareness. You want to have a better self-awareness of who you are and what you bring to the table. You want to have a better self-awareness of your gifts, your strengths, your weaknesses, your personality, your interests, what you're passionate about, how you communicate, how you learn, what makes you laugh. Like you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot. Yes, because guess what? You know all those things: strengths, weakness, gifts, personality, interests, passionate, communication styles, learning styles, teaching styles, what makes people laugh. Guess what? When we're comparing ourselves, we know all the details about the person we're comparing ourselves to. So we know all the details about that person, and it kind of stacks in our mind, and we don't know ours. But if you know yours, if you're self-aware, if you know what your strengths are, if you know what your weaknesses are, if you know what your gifts are, if you know all of these, right? When you start to stack it up, when comparison comes around, when it starts to stack up the other person's one, guess what? It's not apples to apples, right? People are different, right? Somebody has strengths and it's someone else's weakness. So you pretty much take the legs out of comparison because it doesn't add up. Rationally, think about it, it doesn't add up. You can genuinely be happy for other people knowing that it doesn't make you less. Like, it just doesn't add up. You are unique. There is a special reason that you're here. I truly believe that, and I hope you do too. There's a very special reason and a very important purpose of why you're here in this world. And just like our thumbprints, it's unique, it's different, and it's specific and special to you. So you can't compare it. The more self-aware you are, you just can't compare yourself to other people, right? Other people get things when they try it twice. Other people have to try 2,000 times and they get it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all have a special walk, a special journey. So the more self-aware with what you bring to the table, you can genuinely celebrate other people. That way, when they're moving forward and their goals and dreams, you're not competing. You're not competing against no one else. You're just trying to compete against who you were yesterday so you can keep getting better as a person that you are. So self-awareness, I encourage you, dive into this. Get to know yourself better than ever. Just get to know yourself better than you start to read about other people. I want to jump into the next thing. We're 8 minutes in. Here we go. Second thing, number 2, is a PDP. You down with PDP? Yeah, you know me. You down with PDP? Yeah, you know me. No, that's not it. I mean, okay, now the tone, the melody, but that's not, of course, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to make you smile here in 10 minutes. But look, PDP is your personal development plan. Your personal development plan. How are you projected to grow? How are you projected to learn? How are you projected? Because look, this is your plan to become better, right? Whether it's what you're reading, what you're studying, what are you teaching? What are you reaching out at? What are you doing to grow? You need that personal development plan. This is your path to growth. You see, when you have a good self-awareness, you know who you are. You know that where you start is not where anyone else is. That's specifically for you. Now, your PDP, your personal development plan, guess what? That's your steps in the journey. And you can celebrate that. You can celebrate someone else's steps. You can celebrate your steps. But when you got that, guess what? When comparison creeps up, you take the legs out. You totally disarm it in your life because it can't compare. Your self-awareness, your special purpose in this world, and your personal development plan is like no other. But here's a few things you got to make sure in your personal development plan. You got to make sure that it's written. Not just in your head or your heart. Make sure you write it out. Write that thing out. Write it out. Take some time to write it out. This is how you make it even more real. You make sure that share with somebody, share to somebody you can trust, and you make sure that you have frequent check-in to measure it, whether it's weekly or daily or whatever it is, right? Some people hear personal development plan and they say the four letter F word. They're like, F that. And we don't want to talk about that on here. We're not saying that kind of stuff. We don't say those words on here in Leader Seeds. No, we don't. But look, you can use a different word and it's F. But you can say, I'm going to focus on that personal development plan and I'm going to flex in the process. There you go, guys. I'm out of time. It's 10 minutes and 30. I went 30 seconds over. I apologize, but I hope you got value. I hope you didn't even notice because you were so focused on what we're talking about today. We're going to wrap up things here for today. Thanks for spending the time with us here. We're on day 2. Stick with us for the rest of this 10 and 10 blast. Thank you for spending your time with us here on Leader Seeds Podcast. As we always do all things in excellence. My name is Jordan, your host here at Leader Seeds Podcast. Go ahead, subscribe, share this, and post a review if you found any value with today.